out here. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel, Penguin6, where you can see these videos in higher definition as I do a daily vlog in 4K. Yeah, we're back. Once just isn't enough. So, if you were watching this morning, I did hike this exact same path this morning. And this afternoon, I came back for more. Glutton for punishment. Hello, Flames. Hello. So this is my second hike of the day. I do 20,000 steps a day. This hike is about 9. So I'm easily going to hit my 20,000 mark. I did 2,000 steps yesterday due to the black rain and sick kids at home. So today I'm kind of overdoing it a bit. We actually hiked up to the true peak, which is about 400 feet above me. It's 3:30 here in Hong Kong on a Thursday. I really do need to get home. My kids are home from school. They're probably wondering where I'm at. And I gotta make sure my kid doesn't open up his laptop and start playing games. I don't really know, about 2,500 steps or about a mile maybe. A little less. Depends on what stride. If I'm walking uphill, walking downhill, walking fast, longer strides, short strides, on the treadmill. So I hope you guys checked out the earlier video today with the drone. We flew the drone. No, that game was on at about 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning Hong Kong time. So I didn't wake up for it. That's the problem with the Champions League and Europa League. It's all at nighttime in Europe, which means it's early in the morning here in Hong Kong. You know, we haven't played Spot the Building in a while. So that's Government House right down there. This one here is Government House. This is St. John's Cathedral. And this is the former French consulate. The building with the X's is the Bank of China. And the black one here is Citibank. You can just see it says City right over there. What else can we see? Hong Kong Park is right there. And then the zoo and botanical gardens is right there. Well, the botanical gardens and the zoo is right here. And this is HSBC's headquarters. This is Bank of America. This is Standard & Chartered. This is China CCB building. I've lived here about 7 years. China Construction Bank. This is my daily walk. I hike this every morning, and well, today I'm hiking it twice. Going up higher. It is a good view. It makes my morning hike go a little bit faster. So let's go up. Here's these butterflies. Yesterday we saw 10 butterflies. They're still back today. The same little part. I guess that was yesterday, or was it 2 days ago we had all the butterflies attack us? I'm moving fast enough that I'm not really getting bit like I was earlier today. Today I had stopped and God, these people smell like mosquito bite. Jet Li is the best.
And I finally opened from last night, and the thing is killing me because it's exactly how I feel with all my friends. When you just try
There we
it
go.
out,
Let me slide through here.
Normally it would be put in the middle. It's so much more obvious how little light.
Oh, me too.
That is so
Too many idiots. Is it good to get a pocket Wi-Fi? Well, why don't you just get a SIM card? Just stick a SIM card in your phone. Or is your phone not unlocked? Pocket Wi-Fi's die. Problem with pocket Wi-Fi's is the battery. I mean, you only got a couple hours battery life from pocket Wi-Fi, and then you're disconnected. So if you have an unlocked phone, just pocket Wi-Fi is a small device about the size of a phone that gives out a Wi-Fi signal, connects to a 3G net, your 4 LTE network. It's if you need a Wi-Fi connection in like your hotel room or something. But it's not really that great for mobile use. It's more for your iPhone is not unlocked. Oh, you're kind of screwed then. You have no real choice but a pocket Wi-Fi. Or buying a cheap SIM phone here. I wish you could be here. Why don't you come and visit? Round trip airfares, really cheap. I'm flying home to the United States this summer for $630 round trip. No, 5G is not rolled out yet. They haven't. I don't think it's rolled out anywhere yet. 2020, I think, is when they're looking. 2019, the standards will be solidified next year, 2018, and then the rollout will take place over the next 2 years. Yeah, you can get a cheap Android phone for like $150 US. You can buy a cheap Android phone, use it as a pocket Wi-Fi. Bonjour, France. Ça va? Today it's about 3:30 in the afternoon here. We're 6 hours ahead of Central European time. 7 out of London. Pixelate. I don't know, some other people had that problem earlier today too. Of course, it always looks good for me. I do upload these in 720p later to YouTube. I just put up a video blog this morning. I've got another video blog. I've got some great drone footage from this morning. And some other vlogging material. We're going to put the periscopes up. I was just fast because I wanted to get around that person. Talking to yourself while following someone, that kind of like freaks people out, so I wanted to get past her. It is cloudy. I do have a YouTube, Penguin6 on YouTube. I do a video blog, and then I upload all of the Periscope videos, more or less, to the video blog. It's Central USA, time to go to bed, eh? There's very little value going on in the 3 in the morning, unless you're a donut maker or something. Crappy picture, bummer. Boys excited. I don't know, somewhat. You have to understand they don't know anyone in the United States. They have 0 friends in the United States. They have scads of friends here. So given the choice between spending 6 weeks here with all their friends or 6 weeks in the United States with nobody they know, well, it's kind of an easy choice. But they're kind of excited to see some new places, visit some states they've never been to. So it's a bit of a trade-off. We did get tickets for Barcelona versus Man United in Washington, D.C. So they'll get to see Messi, Neymar, and Suarez, hopefully. And maybe Pogba. They've seen Pogba play before, though. I saw Pogba last summer in Europe at the Euro 2016 in France. In Stade de France, actually. My son has a fantasy football league. It's only players that you have seen in real life. So he always likes to see more players. You could run on this trail. It's a little crowded, but during the morning it's empty and people run on it all the time. This is a pretty well paved trail. Most of the trails are still mud. Off to bed, good night. I didn't do that well in my fantasy league this year. I was 5th. Though I did have a very good last 4 weeks. I was like 12th, game week 35, 36, and then I shot up to 5th. Feel tired when you walk up here? I have no idea how many steps I've had so far today. I'm certainly near 20,000. Oh, actually 75% of Hong Kong is jungle. So, trails, mountains, trees, very common. Very, very close to the city. One of the nice things about Hong Kong is that there's no real sprawl separating the countryside from the city. The city ends, the countryside begins. Almost back to the peak tower, then we'll make our way down the mountain. Bitcoin is going a bit crazy right now. Need to travel, well, round trip airfare, $600. Go to google.com/flights. Take a look at airfares from major cities to Hong Kong, and you'd be shocked at how cheap it can be. So my one-way flight from Hong Kong to San Francisco was $379 US. And then the one-way return from Washington, D.C. to Hong Kong by way of Tokyo is $240. With taxes, tags, and whatnot, it was $640 US. So flying to San Francisco, flying back from Washington, $640 US. I could have used my miles, but I was like, why waste the miles when the ticket is that cheap? So the whole family is flying home for about $2,000, because the kid tickets are even cheaper. So this guy works on the tram. Ugh. So we're back at the tourist peak. Well, the tourists get off the tram and come and eat ice cream and whatnot. And we start our hike down the mountain. Park? That wasn't a park, that was just a path. And yes, all the parks are free. All the paths are free. Yeah, the hiking trails are just literally all over the city. And they're public roads, they're public access, so there's no fee at all to go for a walk. There are a lot of, if you just Google Hong Kong hiking, you'll find tremendous resources on all the different paths that exist. Some paths, like the McElhose, hello, good night. The McElhose Trail is like 40 or to 50 kilometers long. It's like 30, 40 miles, something like that. And it cuts all the way across the New Territories. It's actually an incredibly tough path. I mean, professional hikers are like, whoa. Well, sort of, maybe, kind of. It's different. The thing is that the living area here is so crammed together that you have to have some sort of responsibility for your area. You don't just leave trash everywhere. I mean, people do that, but not everywhere, because everybody's just crammed on top of each other. So you can't really be totally self-centered. The grass is so high here. Hello, Faith. Welcome to Hong Kong. This is where I flew the drone from this morning. Penguin 6. Penguin because I had a Linux company, and 6 because I was reading Rainbow 6. And you're here on Hong Kong's peak. We're going to be heading over to Barker Road, B-A-R-K-E-R Road, and the Barker Road tram station. So if you want to Google map me, you can do that. Can you rent under $1,000? Yeah, Jonathan J.K. rents under $1,000 a month. Jonathan J.K. is another scoper who teaches English here in Hong Kong. And his rent over in Kowloon is $1,000. From which country? Well, I live here. I've lived here for 7 years. Makes me a permanent resident of Hong Kong, but originally I'm from the United States, from Washington, D.C., but I grew up in Illinois. So the peak tram is coming shortly. You want to wait here? We can wait here. It'll come down. I think we'll have a better view of it. Yeah, let's go down. Maybe we'll get a view of it. I don't think we're going to make it. I think it's too fast. God knows, go to my YouTube channel. There's about 1,000 videos of the tram there. Back in July. Oh, wow, bummer. Yeah, I will be out of town. It's just too darn hot in July to be in Hong Kong. Well, here's the tram. I hear it. There it is. Ching, 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 ching. You'd love to go to Hong Kong? Is that what you said? So that's the tram making its way down to central Hong Kong, where it'll pick up more tourists. Kowloon, the ghetto? No. In fact, there's very nice areas of Kowloon. There are sketchier areas. In fact, Jonathan J.K. kind of lives in like a red light district. But you'd be surprised. The ghettos here are not like the ghettos in the United States. It's not like you've got heroin addicts and guys shooting each other. It's just poor. But you can easily move far away and there's two ways. That's the fast way. This is the pretty way. Yeah, if you're in a hurry, go that way.
Mid-level going there, and then
yeah. Just turn left at the tennis court. Yeah. Yeah, like a private tutor. I think teaching English, you can make like $40 or $50 US an hour teaching English. I live on the island. I live in the mid-levels. We're heading down that way now. Well, if you speak Cantonese, you could teach other subjects like math or science and make more money. But English is where you'll score the highest because you're a native English speaker. I don't teach English, no. I'm an attorney and a techie. I think the last time I worked for the hour, I was making a couple $100 an hour as a lawyer. So I don't teach English. Besides, I'm too busy. I have 2 kids. I got to deal with my own 2 kids. I'm a dad. I don't know how long we'll stay. You see, it's very expensive to live here. We spend over 90,000 US dollars a year on rent and about 50,000 US on education. So right off the start, there's $150,000 a year US that, if I go back to the United States, I don't have to spend that. And then there's little things, a gallon of milk is $14, a box of Cheerios is $10. My wife's company brought us over. So these costs add up. My wife works for an international bank. I occasionally do work. I have a new company I'm starting, but most of the time I spend taking care of my kids. I do a lot of dad stuff. Especially on my way home. The kids are already home. The nanny picks them up at the bus, but they're running around the house right now. The nanny's probably making dinner and the kids are being crazy. We're supposed to make chocolate chip cookies tonight because my son had a birthday this week and he's going to take chocolate chip cookies to school tomorrow. So we got to make cookies. Can you go into China and take a ton of boxes of Cheerios? Yeah, well, that's the thing. Hong Kong is a free trade port. So whenever we come back from the United States, we literally come back with a dozen boxes of Cheerios. And we save, about $200 US per suitcase. Cheerios, toothpaste, hair gel, deodorant, basically all the little staples that we can get from Target or Amazon much cheaper than we get them here. I do some tech stuff, I do some dad stuff. My wife goes back on business once or twice a year, and she usually comes back with Cheerios and other stuff. We have quite a stash of cereal. I mean, really, $10 US for a box of Cheerios versus 2 in the United States. And the crappy versions here taste like crap. The other problem here is that a lot of stuff comes from the Chinese agricultural system, which we do not trust. The Chinese agricultural system has got a lot of problems with pollution, a lot of problems with hygiene, a lot of problems with, basically everything, such that eating food that's grown in China or prepared in China is not exactly the best option if you can afford otherwise. So we generally eat imported foods from the United States or Europe or Japan or Australia, rather than the Chinese produce, which we just can't feel safe about. It's cheaper to buy in bulk, but a little bit harder. It's a bit different. I mean, legally it's the same here. We still have an open trade port. In fact, a lot of the vegetables I eat now come from England. I go to Marks and Spencer, and they import food daily from the UK, and it's just as cheap. I had a head of lettuce yesterday that was grown in Cambridgeshire, England, and it was a pretty good head of lettuce. And we had some potatoes. I think they were from Ireland, believe it or not. We had Spanish oranges the other day. Though I must say American oranges are better than Spanish oranges. Sorry. Australian oranges aren't bad. The problem is it takes 2 weeks to ship from the United States, so you pick something in the United States and then 2 or 4 weeks later it ends up on the shelf here in Hong Kong. I'm not a licensed member of the Hong Kong bar, so I can't legally practice law here. I could work for a foreign law firm, an American law firm, but I'm kind of old and I don't think I have the experiences they want here, nor do I have the desire to work 14-hour days, 6 days a week, 7 days a week. I've been here about 7 years. Police car. This is Jack Ma's house, the founder of Alibaba.com. And this house is worth, they can't even see it, 193 million. You know, honestly, this is the most Americanized city I've ever been to overseas. I get HBO, CNN, the BBC. I could go to the store and buy Ruffles and Diet Coke and Oscar Mayer ham and lettuce from California, Miracle Whip mayonnaise, whatever I want. And it's kind of the same thing. You know, it's just very, very westernized. Singapore is okay, but it's a little bit hot. Singapore is just too hot for me. I prefer a little bit of seasons. It's very westernized, yes. Singapore is very westernized. So honestly, it's like living in a giant Chinatown. Imagine you move to Chinatown in New York. There are no Costco's here. There are no big box stores. Simply because it's easier to have lots of little shops in the neighborhood, and people don't have cars. There's only 500,000 cars for 7.3 million people. As a result, everybody relies on public transit, so the big box store is actually kind of inconvenient, because you got to schlep all that stuff back to your house. It's much easier just to walk to the mom and pop shop and get what you need. They've tried big box stores, they just don't really take off very well. I think the largest grocery store in Hong Kong is only like 50,000 square feet, which is, by U.S. standards, a mini grocery store, a small grocery store. There is no Amazon here, really. We can get Amazon from the U.S. There are some groceries we can get delivered, like meat and whatnot, fruit imported, but none of them have the ease of use of Amazon Pantry. It's just not kind, and none of them has really taken off as the be-all, end-all of food and produce. So it's kind of difficult. No one has the cachet of, say, Amazon. There are lots of little startups doing food delivery, but by and large, they generally cater to the Westerners, and there's only about, 100,000 Westerners here. That's not really something you can make into a market. The local grocery stores deliver, but they mostly kind of overpriced crap. It's a very closed market in some regards. The company that owns the building owns the grocery store. The grocery store company is part of the same company that owns the real estate, and that company also owns Coca-Cola. And this is the old Victoria Hospital. This was a maternity hospital for Europeans only. Only European women could deliver here. And this is now called Victoria House, and it's in conjunction with that building up there, which is the Chief Secretary of Hong Kong, the number 2 government official. That's their private estate, and their staff is seconded over there in Victoria Hospital. Hong Kong civil servants are paid extraordinarily well, some of the most well-paid civil servants in the world. In fact, the chief executive of Hong Kong, I believe, makes more money than the president of the United States. The idea was that if we pay them very, very well, there'd be no incentive to be corrupt, which has worked somewhat, but not perfectly. We do have a very strict and somewhat independent anti-corruption commission. You want to see the world, you want to see life? Well, it's not that expensive to come over here. Go to google.com/flights. That's Google's fare tracker, google.com/flights. And pick a big city near you, like Dallas or New York or Los Angeles or Chicago or something like that, and see how much it would cost to get to Hong Kong. And you'd be like, whoa, wait a second, I could get to Hong Kong for under $700. And it's cheap from Australia, yeah. You could come on over. Americans can get 90 days here, visa waiver. You can come over here and check out the city. Say, hey, could I live in a place like this? Get an Airbnb place for a week or two. Just kick back and try it out. Enjoy the party scene. Look at the jobs. Check out the grocery stores. Eat some of the noodles. Whatever you want. We do have a Disneyland here. They have lots of jobs at Disneyland if you want to be an actress. How do you get a visa first? Well, if you're an American, you don't need a visa, or a European, you don't need a visa. You just show up. Certain countries do need visas and have to apply. They can apply directly through the Hong Kong immigration, or they can apply through the Chinese embassy or Chinese consulate. My recommendation, though, is to apply through Hong Kong immigration online. Australians, I don't think need a visa. You just show up. Same with Kiwis. No visa for Aussies. I don't know if you get 90 days. Brits get 6 months, actually. 6 months visa waiver. Americans get 90 days. I don't know what Australians get. I think the passport I'd like to get is Dutch. I really like Holland. Mainly because I like pancakes. Amsterdam was an interesting city. Where are the Chinese? Well, everywhere. We're in China. Where are the people? There's nobody on this path at this hour. It's actually not that bad today. I think it was getting up to about 28 Celsius. I'd say right up here at the peak, it's probably 27, 26, 27. That's the high 70s by American standards. It's a little humid, though the humidity broke a bit yesterday because we had this massive rainstorm yesterday. And that sort of took some of the humidity out of the air. So today isn't as bad. It actually was sprinkling a little bit earlier today. I did feel a few drops, but it's kind of mellowed since then. You will see the water flows are running pretty heavily because of the rain that we had yesterday. All the water comes down the side of the mountain and gets funneled into these spillways and channels. This is water that we will drink pretty soon. Yeah, you can hear the water. So yesterday, this was a torrent, an absolute torrent of water rushing through here. In fact, quite dangerous when the black rain was here. But that is water that makes its way into the city's aquifer system. And we'll drink that water in a few weeks, I guess. Do I visit any of the ancient temples? I have visited temples here not specifically ancient, well, more so than others. I visited Moman and whatnot. But eventually, you know, you kind of get templed out. It's like visiting cathedrals in Europe. Yeah, we had black rain yesterday. It was pretty mental. So eventually you're just like, temple, yeah, whatever. Is it dangerous walking alone? No, not at all. This is one of the safest cities in the world. We have a very, very low crime rate. In fact, last year we had 28 murders for 7.3 million people. Put that in comparison, Chicago could have 8 murders a year. Los Angeles could have 12 murders a year. Baltimore could have 2. Murder rate is well below London. Our violent crime rate is well below most places in Europe. There was some flooding. So walking here in the forest alone, actually more of a concern about a snake than any people or anything like that. Snake and wild pigs, wild boar. There are wild pigs on this mountain. Yeah, it is pretty crazy in Chicago. What do I actively avoid after living here? You mean avoid here in Hong Kong? Not much. People, I do see snakes here. Oh, like tourist traps? You know, the tourist trap, there's not, I mean, there's certain places I wouldn't go to eat. Like, I would never go eat up at the Peak, at that Galleria where there's like these chain restaurants and stuff. Bubba Gum Shrimp, wouldn't go there. But I don't really necessarily avoid them. I have just so many other options. I don't go to the Peak on the weekends because it is a little bit crowded. This, like, not this path, but the circular path I was doing is very crowded on a Sunday afternoon or a Chinese holiday. I would say avoid. I mean, honestly, I've got so much to do. I don't specifically have to avoid things. Just do my own thing. My schedule's pretty busy. Bonjour. It is afternoon here. It's about 4:06 here in Hong Kong, which would make it about, 10:06 in the morning in France. Well, my wife ordered pig's brain soup once, so there was a pig's brain floating in the soup. And there's been incidents of mainland Chinese tourists defecating on the streets. That's been pretty gross. Low prices? No, not at all. Depends what you're looking for. I mean, there are some things that are cheap, but they're usually low quality. Like want to get a USB cable for $1 US? Yeah, you can do that. But a gallon of milk from the United States is $14. A gallon of gasoline is $8. The average family in my son's international school, they're spending $11,500 a month on rent. $11,500 US a month on rent. But healthcare is free, so that's kind of nice. There are some cheap stores. There's not like 99, it's like a $1.50 store. They're Japanese. So you can actually get a few cool things in the dollar store. There are a lot of snakes here in Hong Kong, many of them poisonous, but most of the venomous snakes are nocturnal. They don't come out during the day, knock on wood, except the bamboo pit viper, which is a mean green snake machine, but I haven't seen many of those. Stanley markets are still there, but they're primarily touristy. We prefer to go to, say, Sham Shui Po markets, which are more local and cheaper. This house, for example, is 6 bedrooms, 6,000 square feet, with a separate maid's quarters over here, private golf cart, chauffeur. Its rent is about $33,000 US dollars a month, 33,000 US, and you can get this 6-bedroom house. Worst US knockoff. When I go into mainland China, I see a lot of knockoffs, more so than I do here in Hong Kong. Hong Kong has knockoffs, but not to the extent you'll see in China. There in China, you'll go up, you'll find a store called Prado, or Burr-Ee, or something like that. You know, they have all sorts of weird names. Australia has some really ridiculous snakes. Watching YouTube videos of Australian wildlife and reptiles was pretty frightening. Well, that's not a snake. That's a snake. And this giant serpent comes out, eats a cow. spiders, yeah. I've been here about 7 years, so this is my home. That said, I am going to the United States for 6 weeks, so in about a month or so, about 3 weeks, we're actually flying off. 3 weeks from today, we're flying off to America. Yeah, who knows what lives in the outback of Australia? I mean, there could be, hell, there could still be dinosaurs. No one's just come across them. I haven't been to Australia. My father's been a couple times. It's an 8-hour flight from Hong Kong. We actually have relatives in Sydney, so we have a place to shack up, but we haven't made it there. There are farmers markets. We trust there is a local Hong Kong farmers market, which is a couple farmers based here in Hong Kong. Some of them are hydroponic growers that grow the vegetables in water, so we trust those guys, but we don't go to the regular street markets. Most of that produce comes from China. We just don't trust it. Yeah, I need to get down to Australia, but it's just on my list of things I need to do. I think we would go see Sydney. A lot of people say it's a great place. It's probably the easiest to get to, though there are closer places up north. I haven't got my green card yet. We're sort of hold on the paperwork for a moment because we're going to be gone in 3 weeks, so we're a little hesitant to apply and then get their response while we're away. We don't want them to be like, hey, you didn't pick up your cards. I've been to the airport in Dubai. I've never been out and about. We flew through Dubai a couple times, but it was Ramadan. And so we were actually originally planning to spend a few days in Dubai, but because it was Ramadan and it was also the middle of summer, it was incredibly hot. We would be somewhat limited in what we could do during the day. Not everything would be open. Had to dress a little bit more conservative during Ramadan than normal, so we just opted not to get out in Dubai. I'm sure we'll get through there another time. Yeah, it's quite warm. It's funny, the pools in the hotel actually advertise that they are chilled. They actually have refrigeration systems for the pools, so the water doesn't get too hot. Like, okay. Just got a note from my son's friend that Ronaldo, the old Ronaldo, is here in Hong Kong. Fat Ronaldo is here in Hong Kong today, signing autographs with kids. So we're taking pictures. I don't know how Sydney is there. Is it in the winter? Maybe. I really don't know much about Sydney and weather. Here on Hong Kong Island, about 90% of the people speak English to an extent that you can communicate with them. As you go up into the new territories, that number drops off considerably, but honestly, I've never really been in a situation that I couldn't get by with English. The people speak enough English that they can help you, or they can find someone who can help you. So it just sort of depends. I mean, I haven't had discussions about, existentialism versus, Ayn Rand versus, whatever. But, I have had discussions like, well, I need this, but I need it in this color or this size. Can you have it shipped? When will it come in? Stuff like that. Or, hey, we need a plumber. We've got a leak. Da-da-da. Most of the people here are somewhat trilingual. They speak Mandarin, Cantonese, and English. So you can get by. That said, it's good to learn how to say please and thank you in Chinese. Those are some good manners across cultures. And also it's pretty helpful if you know how to say your home address in Chinese. So when I go home, when I take a taxi, I can speak either in English or Chinese. The older Hong Kongers speak better English than the young ones, mainly because they were educated by the British and because they've been speaking English longer than the young ones. The young ones speak better Mandarin because they've been educated in more Mandarin-based school. Mandarin is being emphasized to the detriment of English somewhat. I speak just English. That's all I need. Friends I know have lived here 30, 40 years, speak only English. Can you British go through? Yeah, we have Marks and Spencer food here. Marks and Spencer has groceries. We have several other groceries that import British food. So like the grocery store here has all the Waitrose products. So if I want Waitrose cereal or bread, stuff like that, I can pick it up at the grocery. So I'll pretty much get most of all the British candy I can pick up over here. Wine gums, Menards wine gums. Menards wine gums was one of my favorite. Don't eat those that much anymore though, because they're just too damn addictive. But yeah, I can pick those up here. I love Walker's baked salt and vinegar crisp. Those are my favorite potato chips. I could eat those for the rest of my life and be happy. I don't know what I'm gonna do if I ever move from Hong Kong and not gonna have access to Walker's potato chips. I'm thinking of ordering them from England, starting an e-commerce site that just sends potato chips. Lion bars, is that what you call these things? To stop cars from running me over? They're surprisingly weak. When cars hit these things, they crumple like toothpicks, to be honest. I think they're more to keep people from wandering off into the street than they are to keep cars off the sidewalk, pavement. So that little boy is wearing the same school uniform as my son, but judging from his age, he's a few years behind my son. Oh, Lion bars are things to eat? I think we've seen those. Although, interestingly enough, our Cadburys come from Australia. There are a few shops that import British Cadburys, but most of our Cadburys are Australian Cadburys. Now, Australian Cadburys are made with dairy milk, and the British ones are made with pure chocolate. So the British ones are a little bit more of a kick, but we can get both. Yeah, most people in England I've given a Hershey bar to are like, what the hell is this? Tastes like cardboard. Yeah, that's a Hershey bar. Anyway, guys, we're home. Yeah, we're going to get out of the car, get out now and go upstairs. My kids are probably tearing up the house. So, anyway, we do this sort of thing every single day. So if you follow me, you'll see different views of Hong Kong. You'll see this hike pretty much every day, and then usually we go to lunch. Today we skipped lunch. Tomorrow we'll have something. Right, thank you. Okay. Yep, and it's gonna be the rest of the day. See you guys later.